Welcome back to another episode of your favorite campus discussion with decarlogh GH. Like I said, I'm your favorite campus celebrity. Now, it's either you accept it as it is or you argue with your screen. Nevertheless, click on that like button, share this video to your fellow students, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. On today's episode, I have with me one great politician. I mean, it's arguable though, but he won his portfolio with just a margin against his contestant. That was the best political election you would ever meet. And I'm very happy to reveal to you the man of the moment, the SRC PRO, Ebusia. Akwaba.
Yeah, senior.
This is the second time you are coming on our show.
Exactly.
Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
You know, before I start this, I have to make mention of those helping us with this production, our sponsors and media partners for this episode. We have Nifred Yogurt. Yeah, you can see it on the table. It's pretty looking. I mean, there are other options though. You can take the bottle or the cup. If you are from US, you can take one of the fancy ones. Me, I'm a Ghanaian, so I just wanted a bottle. You know what I'm saying? The yogurt flavor and then the way your friend is. This one is milk or what? It's vanilla, eh? Yeah. The studio is full today. We are going to have one or two discussions about the portfolio, about the human Ebusia himself, and then the brand Ebusia. Ebusia.
Senior.
Today, I'm the one interviewing you. Yeah. I remember last time, my Manuel, yeah, he did that beautiful interview with you and Akumapa. That is still one of our most watched videos on YouTube.
That's great.
And the election was crazy. Congratulations once again.
I'm more than grateful.
All right. So, for the sake of those who don't really know you, right, we are going to go into your biography a little bit, then we get back on track to where we are, the current stage, the Ebusia we are seeing today. You get me?
Sure.
Yep. So Ebusia,
Senior.
first of all, what is your name? What is the full name your parents gave you?
So the real name on my birth certificate given by my parents is Eji Enoch. That's my real name.
Okay. I mean, I can swear I remember that line from the other video.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
you're giving the Ebusia in SHS or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll put a link to that video in the YouTube description. Do well to watch it, even though the election is past, but you know, we would appreciate the view. So, before the university, what school did you attend?
Okay, so from my early years, I started from Chebi Methodist Primary School, and then went to New Central International School for about 2 years, primary 5, 6, and came back to my home, Chebi DAGHS, for my junior high school education. I went to Konongo Senior High School for my secondary education.
And did you have any position in the SHS?
Sure, I did. I was the library prefect for 2017-2018 academic year.
Oh,
back in.
That's beautiful. And when you came to the university, what hall were you affiliated to? Or are you affiliated to? Let me put it that way.
Okay, so I'm affiliated to the Premier City, the Premier Hall of the University of Cape, the one and only Ogwa Hall.
Okay.
Right, that's my blood, and that's where I belong to.
Philomo.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, when you came into the university, you were affiliated to Ogwa Hall, and in level 100, level 200, 300, you had one or two portfolios you were holding or positions you actually held. Can you enlighten our viewers the positions you actually had?
Okay, so it's a capacity building. When I got to the University of Cape, it started with course rep. So I was a course rep for. Sure. Course rep for physical geography. So went there, then I picked other ones from church and to the Parliamentary Council, UCC Parliamentary Council. This is one of my bedrock that play an integral role in my training. So I was part of the 18th Parliamentary Council as the Deputy Chief and a member for the Amama Central Constituency in the Parliament. So it was one of the few positions I took in level 100. Then I went on with the other ones until I finally became the SRC Rep 1 for
Okay.
PR.
Okay. Right after SRC Rep 1, you took a long shot into the office of the PR. But the aims and aspirations you had for the various portfolios you held in 200 and 300, how did it turn out? Was it as expected, or it was a little shaky?
Okay, so it all boils down to the philosophy.
Okay.
And the philosophy I hold is leaders for the people, right? So when people accept your leadership as legitimate, they get their expectations. If you are not able to solve all their problems, what is the hope you are leaving with them? So I think that has been my success. I leave hope for my people. I solve the possible problems I can solve. Then we prepare for turning and handing over for another administration. So,
look, everybody in the studio today would bear with me that when the election time came, right, the portfolio you were going for was very tight.
Very, very tight.
Because we had you, we had Akumapa, and everyone here would bear with me. That was the craziest election we ever had in UCC. But how was the feeling before the election?
So before the elections, I was terrified a bit.
A slight one.
A slight
50%.
Exactly. Yeah. Because people were just telling me, you've not been seen around, we've not been hearing from you, where have you been all this while?
Okay.
And all that stuff. And there was a whole lot of shaking here and there. But I kept my head high because I knew what I was in for. And my philosophy was right.
So did you have the fear of losing the election?
Yeah, to be frank, that is the issue, or that is the case, because it's an election. You either win or you lose.
All right, but I'm asking this question because you see, education was no one to play with. Akumapa was no one to play with, and truthfully, he gave you the competition.
Sure.
Right. So seeing education on the ballot screen, seeing your name after education, seeing Akumapa there, how did that make you feel? That you have these two big guys, and I mean, physically they are big guys.
Sure.
Yeah, a little smaller than them. So how did that make you feel?
So at first, my people were saying I don't have luck when it comes to balloting because I was number 3. That means the last person on the ballot.
Akumapa was number 1.
Exactly. So I had been telling them that has been the case. I've always been the last person. And I always use a quotation from the Bible. Matthew 10:26.
Are you asking me?
Matthew 10:26. Yeah, I'm very sure. Matthew 10:26. The first shall be the last, and the last shall be
Who
the
knows
first.
that quotation, please?
Right.
Who knows it? Who knows? You know it. You're checking.
The first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first.
All right.
Right. So that was the case.
I get it. But before the D-Day, what was the challenge you faced?
My biggest challenge was finances. I had to empty all my 4 years savings because I was not having any support from anywhere.
Wow.
Back at home, from my people I knew, it was just some key people or few people that came, take this 100 Ghana, take this 200 Ghana, and that was a few people, less than 5 people. So I had emptied everything I had.
So how would you have felt if after all this sacrifice, you didn't get the position?
So it was a philosophy. Like I prepared myself so much for that situation. Though it wasn't easy to take a defeat, but I had prepared that in that case come, you win or you lose, you go, you forge on, then you try your best.
All right, so let's look at the D-Day. Sure. On the day of election, UCC was very crazy.
Very hot.
I remember I went around with Dangote at a certain point. I went around with Akumapa himself. I went around with a couple of people, Wise King for Guawa presidency.
Sure.
And the atmosphere in UCC at that time was very crazy. How did you feel seeing those numbers pulling up at the election, the venue for elections in the traditional halls, and even Barco Trust? I mean, I saw one place there. How did you feel seeing all those numbers? And how did that number you saw, or the numbers you saw, make you feel? And what was going through your mind? Like, are these guys going to vote for me or what? How was it? I would like to know that.
Okay, so elections are decided by the electorates upon their own convictions. So the very day, I think, seeing a whole lot of you may have seen some before, met some before, some may be of a new phase. The turnout was very massive, to be frank.
Oh, honestly.
Very, very massive. About 13,000, over 13,000 students.
Wow.
So those who I knew before they went to the voting room, I could just spark a little conversation. Charlie, I hope you know the agenda and that I'll need your help. It wasn't official campaigning, but at least
Of course,
a
you don't
click of the
campaign on
eye,
the
at
D-Day.
least.
That is something we don't do. You never campaign on
Sure.
the D-Day. Now, before we continue to after the election, I would like to announce this. On the 4th of February, there is going to be a workshop titled the Creative Workshop 101. It is starting from the 4th of February to the 25th of February. That is every Saturday of the month. Now, that is going to be a face-to-face something hosted by Brand Kelly, and the guest will be Avat. They are going to be talking about Photoshop and Premiere Pro. Anyone who would like to take part of this workshop can contact the numbers I would leave on the screen, or you send them a message via email. Now, the rate is 70 cedis per course. That is Premiere Pro and Photoshop separate, though. But if you are registering both courses, or you want to learn Photoshop and Premiere Pro, you are going to pay 130 cedis. That means 10 cedis reduction. It's starting on the 4th of February, so the 25th of February. And after that, there is going to be an online session on Zoom. That is going to be on the 4th of March to the 25th of March, always the first Saturdays of, the first to the last Saturday of every month. So each Saturday, there is going to be something for you. That is just by the way, Ebusia. I almost said Akumafa.
Sure.
Yes. So, after the election, we heard rumors.
Sure.
We heard conspiracies. We heard a lot of stuff from students, from lecturers, from the electoral commission, from all sides of the university. Now, when the scores were announced,
Sure.
you led with 46 votes.
Sure.
46. I stand to be corrected.
I think
was
that
that
48.
48?
Sure.
Yeah, I just reduced it by 2, right?
48.
How did that make you feel? That was the closest score we've ever had in the history of UCC election.
Sure.
How did you feel seeing that?
So at first, I did not believe I won the election because I was at SRC when the elections were declared. Like,
You were nowhere around.
no, I was nowhere around. So when they told me that I've won the election,
They're like,
no, it's not true. Because out of the 10 polling stations, I've lost 6 of them. And how can 4 polling stations win an election? It's never true.
Well, I think your stronghold was Ogwa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that came the difference, that my people accepted me massively, even than the SRC president, who was also a preferred candidate from our hall. Right. So I had more votes in my hall than the SRC president. So God did the magic for me. And finally, I was moving around confirming results. I went to Barco Trust, and to the last point I was at the KNH to confirm if my perfect competitor, Akumapa, has won.
I like how you
Exactly.
perfect competitor.
My
That was
perfect
crazy
competitor.
competition.
If he has won, there will be jubilations in KNH. But I went to KNH and the place was quiet, silent. It was until the SRC president gave me a call. So you won the elections, where are you? as I'm around KNH doing some confirmation. What are you doing confirmation for this time? Our people are waiting for us. Let's move into action. So my people came with cards and picked me, then we joined the jubilation.
Yeah. You're part of the SRC officially.
Finally.
Congratulations once again. I would always replay that election because it was hands down. Well, let's go.
Sure.
Now, after assuming the position, the office of the PRO, what is it like to be there? You had your perceptions in the previous interview. You explained what the PRO does and a whole lot of stuff. But how does it feel? What is it like to be there right now? Is it like you expected or it's more than that?
Okay, so what I expressed in the other interview or video, continue and stands unabated. That is exactly what the Public Relations Office of the SRC stands for. But there is more to it. When I entered the office, there are other things that goes beyond just public relations. There are things that are more personal. There are things that are more student-centered than as I taught. A whole lot of stress in the work. You have to attend to people here and there. Just try to balance it with your emotion, balance it with your work, balance it with everything. Because every time, anything can come to you.
So what is the one thing that you didn't expect to be part of the job of the PRO?
I think everything I'm experiencing for now, I had a fair perception about it before I came to the office.
Okay.
A fair perception about that. But sometimes it seems to be becoming too much. But you bear for it because that's what you signed for.
That's what you signed for. That is it. But you see, when you were voted into power, we didn't have level 100s around. We had actually, but they were moving to level 200. Now, when they moved, we had a new batch of the level 100s, a new naive squad in our midst right now. They are fragile because they know very little about the university. How does it make you feel knowing that you have to reach out to each and every one of these students to get their needs attended to in your office?
Okay. So the coming of the level 100s became a very hectic situation for us. Not for me particularly, but for all the executive of the SRC. I'm the face of the SRC. So the first point of call is myself before anyone else. So my phone is a normal thing. It's a normal thing to be receiving about 14 missed calls within 30 minutes. That means averagely about 30 seconds you receive about a missed call or 2 missed calls. So we had to make ourselves available to them. We were able to get their database from the university to reach out to them while they were at home, conscientizing and sensitizing them about the journey to the university, what goes on to the university. If they are being duped by someone, they are being led by someone to do that or do this the right way to go. So we started with engaging with them at home before we organized the hassle-free transport for them to bring them safely to campus. So I think that was the preparations before they came around.
I hope you didn't spend a lot of money bringing them to campus though.
We are yet to have a final account of that, but I'm not sure that we made it.
When there is extra money, you can always bring some here. We need to finish up the studio. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So now, with new people comes new responsibility. You rightfully said that. Sure. What is the SRC doing about their security?
Okay, so this year has recorded a great intake of fresh students as compared to the past 4-5 academic years. So what we did first is about the publicity and the education about security on campus here, that security is a shared responsibility. You have a greater part to play as yourself. So you are the best security person anyone could give you. So we first told them to be very careful with how they use their gadgets around, how they walk around, they position themselves on campus, a whole lot. in addition to the structures we have for security, the campus security is there, the various cadets of various halls are also there, police on campus. So we've enlightened them about the security structures in the university, and more importantly, about themselves taking the full responsibility of their security.
All right, so if talking about they taking full responsibility of their security, I would like to go a little deeper into that. So, is there a policy or is there something set up by the SRC to more or less like, let me reframe that. So, if a student should carelessly be robbed, right, or more like his or her phone be snatched from him or her, practically because he was flaunting it at night, holding a laptop, walking on the school bus road alone, or misbehaving with the phone. Is there anything there as it stands that if your situation is some way like that, the SRC will not maybe take full control of the situation, or if you are slightly different, or maybe you were actually robbed, like what we saw last semester, people being stabbed and chased with knives and a whole lot of stuff. What is the SRC doing about that? What do they say about such situations?
Okay, so first of all, I want to comment on the stabbing and the other things.
Okay.
There was a case, but I think it was not a total stabbing, like the person was dead. I want to just make a
that video.
That. Yes, that
I remember there was a communique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was no death case here, though there was some sort of friction between the armed robber and the person whose phone was taken. So there was that friction between them, and the armed robber hits the person with a knife on the hand. But I think for now and for sure, the person is released and is kicked. So with the policy that you asked about, SRC, to be frank, will not replace the gadgets. But what the SRC will do is that we will pick the necessary information and all the intelligence on the ground. What was the approach where you were robbed? What was the action of the robber or the armed robber? We will pick the intelligence, give it to the security, then together with our campus security team and our diaspora security team, they will beef up what security issues on that very zone to get such corporate, if it is a plan something, to get such person arrested or prosecuted.
But in the history, I've not been long on campus, though, but from what I know in UCC, it's really difficult to catch a robber.
Sure.
Why is it so? Because I remember when I interviewed the SRC, he was then contesting by the current SRC president at that time. He made a statement or sort of a claim that the leaders in the towns know those who are robbing. Basically, if you host a robber, you know where the robber lives. You know what I'm saying? So, is that the case, or you think there is a different story to that altogether? Because there are issues, there are cases where people get robbed and we never get to the root of the issue or the case. It just dies off.
Sure, it's very true. Very true. So, from my perspective, I think leaders of the various communities may have a fair idea, but not be in a good position to pinpoint that this person is a robber or that person is a robber.
Okay.
Because until you are caught with appropriate evidences, you cannot be confirmed that you are a robber. So I think they have a fair idea that this is a dangerous place or dangerous enclave in our community, which is meant for, notably known for robbery cases. So with that, I beg to differ from what he said at that time, that the leaders knew the robbers and other stuff. Sure. The so I think it's a collaboration thing that we must do. Okay. What I think we've not been able to do is innovation in our security, patrolling and other stuff. If we've been very innovative, and I think in this SRC we had a very fruitful discussion about how innovative we can beef up with security on campus and in the diaspora, particularly,
Okay.
right? To be more particular about diaspora security, and we are coming up with innovative measures like drones. We may come out with drones.
And you think the drone will actually help? Because
It will help assist.
Yeah, I'm looking at a situation where a robbery is going on and the drone is taking the footage, but then it goes on low battery and it just had to stop in the middle. So what do we do then?
So we will engage all the technicians to see more of the pros than the cons.
Okay, so how long would the drone, should it be implemented? How long would the drone fly for?
So it will be a recommendation from our technicians that if a drone can fly to about an hour, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Oh, so it's roaming.
It's roaming around.
Okay, so then the technicalities. Now I'm thinking of a day where the drone is moving and the moment the robbers see it, they just wait. It passes and they come out to rob someone from that
So
side.
as I said earlier on, I wanted to make an emphasis on something that is going to be a complement to our diaspora security team.
The watchdogs.
The watchdogs, right.
Okay.
I would prefer to call them diaspora security team because someone's father calling me a watchdog and
Yeah. I mean that is the easiest thing we could actually come up with.
Exactly.
I mean, when you mention campus security, sometimes we look at those wearing the brown. Yeah. So when you say the watchdogs, we see the black. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool.
That has been the general adage.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
for now, we want to frame it to be diaspora security team,
Okay.
so that it will beef up their work. It will complement what they do. So as they move around with the police, or also with works from the police, the drone will complement what they do, and it will help us at least to the barest minimum get to solve this problem of
All right.
insecurity.
All right, Ebusia. I think I would move from the robbery, and another important security issue I would like to talk about is rape,
Okay.
assault, and there's one they call batteries again.
Yeah.
What is it? Battery. No, I'm using the battery in the camera. Now, with rape and assault,
Sure.
is there any place or any organization or association on campus that should a guy or a lady be a victim of? And I know when I say a guy being a victim of rape, it's not really in the system, but it happens.
It really happens.
Should a guy or a lady be a victim? Is there any place the guy can go to, or any helpline that a guy can dial to get assistance?
Okay, so with such issues like rape and, as you mentioned, there is a whole policy in the university, sexual harassment policy,
Okay.
which must be known to the student. The student must try to have a look at it, the sexual harassment policy. It guides everyone.
Is it in the
This-
student's handbook?
It is not in this student handbook.
Okay.
It's a separate document. So I think we have to look around to see how best student can have
Provisions for
exactly
students.
permission for student to have a copy of it. So it covers everyone. Everyone is included: senior staff, junior staff, or everybody in the university. So in terms of at the extreme end, if there is any case of a harassment or an abuse, we have a center that addresses such issues on campus.
Okay.
And I think that center, student does not use it most because SIGRAD.
SIGRAD.
Yes, SIGRAD. They are located
Uh,
at the last floor of
Oh,
yes.
yeah, I've seen that place.
So students should be very bold to approach them. They are there to assist students, to listen to students. So students should take advantage of their office, get there in terms of any abuse or violence, anything.
But do you think we have counselors, active counselors, I mean, on campus for the students? Because I keep on hearing we have departmental counselors. We have each student has a counselor on campus. That is what the staffs make us hear. We believe that sometimes, but is that the case on ground? Because I hardly see these counselors.
There are counselors, professional and readily available counselors.
You know why I'm saying that? You see, in the student portal, there is a part where it says counseling services.
Exactly.
And if I am not telling lies, I know about 4 or 5 people who have tried that, and up to date there is no response.
Really?
Yes.
Then I must be convinced by their evidences, because what I'm aware of is that it's a swift counseling service mounted on the student portal.
The last time I checked, it was a trial or something.
No, it's not a trial or something. It's working. It's really working. So you fill in your details. You are given to a counselor, right? And the counselor starts everything with you. To a point, to even hide your identity, they can still counsel you. Anonymous counseling services. So I think we, the students, have not exhausted all the counseling structures in the University of Cape Coast, because we have counselors in each and every hall in the university. Apart from that, our department, we have academic advisors, we have counselors in our various departments, we have the counseling unit at Old Site, the Department of Psychology. They are all there. So I think we've not exhausted the counseling structures in the university. We must make good use of them.
All right. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of counseling. Sure. Let's get into the fun parts of the semester, the year. What are the activities the SRC is actually planning for the students? I know for sure there is matriculation coming around the corner for level 100s, and then there is, I've heard that on the 4th of February, rather, on the 4th of February, there is going to be aerobics, and yep. For now, that is what I've heard. What is going on?
Okay, so with the matriculation, is very true. 18th February. 18th. Exactly. That is the letter released from the Office of the Dean of Students, that on the 18th of February, this level 100, let me put it this way, they are now freshers until they are matriculated. There's a convention in the university that before you are matriculated, you remain a fresh student. So that is the letter received from the Office of the Dean of Students, 18 February 2023, Saturday, 9 o'clock a.m., New Examination Center.
At NEC?
Yes.
Oh, so they are not doing it at the congregational ground?
No, actually. The venue on the letter is New Examination Center.
Okay. Now, if you are a fresher and you want to be a level 100, there will be a session for photo shoot. Practically, maybe it will be free, but we are still working on it. And if it is free, I'll let you know. I'll give you that information. You call the numbers I'll put in the video, in the next video. Then you will link up with them. They will give you quality photo shoots, and yeah, you take it from there. Now, if you take the photo shoot and you are okay with the pictures, and you feel like you have to frame this picture and give it to your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your uncle, you know what I mean. You can contact Frame Hub on 020-948-0322. That is for WhatsApp, and you can call them on 059-355-1140 for all your frames. They have A3 sizes, A4, A2, whatever size you want. You just give them a dimension, they will do it for you. And that is about the matriculation pictures, photo shoots, and then framing of the pictures you will take. And on that same day, I think there is another program that is coming up on the 18th. That will be from TESCOM also. Because I know TAIN is organizing their Aquawa Games on the 4th of February at Heritage Beach. You know about that?
Yeah, I think I've heard about that, but I'm not exposed to the details of their game.
So are you on TAIN or TESCOM, or you won't say it?
For personal reasons, I think
that is the focus here today. Sure. But if you are interested in the Aquaba Games by TAIN UCC, and you don't know what TAIN UCC is, it is basically, is it TAIN that is the MPP or NDC?
10 is
the
the
NDC.
yeah.
TESCON is the MPP, right? That is organized by the campus NDC, student NDC, yeah, 10 UCC. Now, the location of this Aquaba Games we are talking about is at Heritage Beach. It's going to start at 10 a.m. And according to the information we have, they are going to have Ludo, draft, Owari, sack race, lime and spoon, dancing competition, pick and act, and what have you. I mean, a lot of games. So you can join, everyone is invited. Whether you are a team member or not, if you want to have fun, just connect or link up with them at Heritage Beach. But they are going to have a rendezvous at the shuttle terminals for old sites and the new sites. If you are early, around 8 a.m., you can catch up with them. If you miss the bus, you can join them at Heritage Beach. If you don't have fun, you can join me here. You have Gary Soakins, and people are already eating here in the studio. So you can join us anytime you're ready. I mean, on the 4th of February, that is it.
Yeah.
One more thing before we go. SRC week.
Sure.
Last year, it was, you know what happened?
Yeah, I was around. I saw what happened.
Yeah. So what are we looking at this year?
Okay. So we learned from the past.
Okay.
Last year's Diwali was spectacular. I think it was the first one that had some hitches, but it was fixed.
Yeah.
The second,
there was a remix.
A reloaded one.
A remix. That is the basic thing.
So the reloaded Diwali was on point, perfect.
Okay.
So this year's SRC, we want to do something ultra modern, something spectacular. So hopefully in the second semester, we are going to have our week. Then we are going to have a whole lot of entertainment sessions in it.
There's one thing I forgot. Now, it is not time yet, but what is the SRC doing about accommodation for the level 100s who are yet to move into the diaspora?
Okay, so with accommodation issue, it always get out of context when we put it in, out, because students are just increasing. And we exposing our students to private operators, private owners of hostels. They are extorted.
Okay.
Regulation of these private individuals are not that conclusive, because there are some of these hostels that are not registered with the university, and students go there for accommodation, and they have every right, and they get there and extort the students. So what we are planning of for our students is that we will link up with our father, with the office of the dean of students, to see how best we can get more hostels on board under the regulation of the university, to see how best student needs will be addressed. Because as it stands now, it's a true statement that we cannot host all levels from level 100 to 600 in the whole of residences. It can never be true. So we'll try and fix the issue of regulation with their private owners, and I think that will help give a cold head to the current level 100s who are yet to move to the diaspora.
All right, that is really cool, but you never touched your yogurt.
Oh, I'll get in touch with that.
Yeah, it's witty, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So if you are interested in the yogurt you are seeing on the table, you can contact Nifred Yogurt on 055-712-6211 for a bottle or a cup of the yogurt. The bottle goes for 7 cedis ahead. No, 8 cedis rather, and the cup goes for 7 cedis. You can WhatsApp them on that number too, and that will be delivered ASAP. Free delivery on campus, I think. Outside campus, you would have to take boats for us to bring to you. That is basically what we are going to do. Now, PRO,
Senior.
there is no time left for your people.
Sure.
It's just a semester left, and the remainder from this one. You had a lot of plans before the election.
Sure.
Do you think you can reach the target, or at least finish like 80% of your plans, the plans you set out to?
Okay, so we sold ourselves to our people. with our campaign promises and our manifesto, our projects and policies. So with my side, to be honest, that's one of the things Ghanaians we are lacking. We are not having honest politicians. Those who tell you this is the issue.
Of course.
With my case, I will not be able to complete 100% everything I said or everything in my policies.
Yeah.
A notable one is the SRC notice board. Right, it must go through procurement, a whole lot. If we are to build a new one with a renovation, I think that one could be considered to around 6 months or 5 months if everything works on smoothly. So I'm giving myself around 85% at the end of my office. The other percentage left will be prepared, all things secured for the next administration to come.
I think it's fair enough when we are talking about preparation. Let me tell you, on campus, the only place that prepares the best meal you can ever enjoy is Oria's fast food. And I'm not saying this, I'm not capping. Let me tell you what they do. They have fried rice and chicken, jollof rice and chicken. They have Indomie there, and it's in medium and large sizes. The prices you can call them to find out. They sell sauces, vegetable sauce, and what have you, beef sauce, and whatever you want to get. And they're located at Amahoma, adjacent to the Chiefs Palace. I think a few meters from BBS Saloon. You can call them. They do delivery services too. You can call them on 025 737 6415. And they have the fastest delivery services on campus. No cap. If you call them and they delay, call me, I'll pay you your money. I'm telling you that 100%. People say you should try that food. Sure. Hopefully, the next time you come here, they'll bring us some food for you to take home. I mean, today we're favored to have you for you got here. Maybe next time we will have them on board and then we'll take it from there. This is where we draw the curtains on today's conversation. I'm really grateful to have you here. We are all grateful because not everybody would actually accept an invitation like that when you've already been here, right? So we are going to say a very big thank you for showing up and for not letting our hand hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this is your PRO. Enoch Ajay, he won the race with 48 votes, 48 votes difference. The fastest man alive. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't win without a competition. This is a university, you always compete and you either win or you lose. But you never lose in the university, you learn. You're always for learning. Put that in your mind and you take it from there. If you are new to our channel, please do us a favor to like our video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, share the video with your friends. And remember, on the 4th of February, there is going to be a aerobics session organized by the UCC SRC. Join them at the sports complex. That is what
I think that one is pending approval from the Office of the Dean of Students because we've outlined it, but he must give us the green light before we.
But the 4th is assured.
There is a possibility, higher possibility.
So there's a higher possibility that on the 4th of February there's going to be aerobics for you guys to enjoy yourselves. And on the same 4th of February, I'm reminding you that Team UCC is organizing their Alphabet Games at Heritage Beach. You can join them, you can join their buses if you are early at the shuttle terminals for O sites and the U site. If you are late, you can take boats and then join them at Heritage. If you don't have money, come and join me in the studio, you eat their risottos. My name is decarlogh, GH. You can add the GH. I am your favorite campus celebrity. The others are students. Don't mind them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really happy.
I'm more than grateful for it.